Our road department, our firemen, and our police department. The policemen actually went in water 3 or 4 feet deep or deeper to rescue people out of their cars. And you guys all did a great job, and they put a lot of hours in. Thank you.
I got a question on the agreement you guys made with Range.
Can you, for some
No.
Yeah, thank
The
you.
agreement you guys made with Range, now does that affect the Connor Sound well too?
Not right now, not going forward, because that is still an active litigation, but there is the potential for.
You're still in litigation over the Connor Sound as well?
This one was just specific to Schultz, Bernard Schultz.
But did you not lose on the Schultz well?
No,
Oh, you did, that's why you filed an appeal.
no, the Range filed an appeal as well. We won some, we lost some, they won some, they lost some, it was,
I kind of know how many lost, but okay, but that's here and there. So that has no effect. See, I had heard different things where this would cover all the wells.
no, this was specific to the Schultz Bernard. Like I said, that does not mean there isn't the potential for future working things out in the future, but this, what was voted on this evening was specific to Schultz Bernard.
Well, let me ask you this, if Range would come in and apply for a permit, since that last time it ended in a draw, basically, would you give them a permit?
I can't answer that.
I think this is going to be the standard for all
Yeah.
of them.
He said he thought this was a standard.
Yeah,
Remember we
that's
talked
what-
about,
That's what we had agreed to at the meeting, correct?
no, so in order for this to be a standard, and jump in at any point, in order for this to be a standard for all wells going forward, we have to make a change to our ordinance. We would have to start that process along. This, what was voted on tonight and what was agreed on at Schultz Bernard is specific to Schultz Bernard. Now, does that mean that we can work that out going forward on other well pads? Yes, probably, but there's nothing set in stone tonight when we walk out the door for future, for other well pads.
So what is the litigation going on now for the Connor Sound well? What is that about?
So the Connor Samuel well pad was a denial, a conditional use denial.
Correct.
This particular well pad was an approval, conditional use approval with conditions.
I understand.
The actual conditions were appealed. So the Connor is, the current stance of that well pad is a denial. Range appealed the denial, and we're before the judge. And the judge actually bifurcated the issue into a due process component, which we're waiting to hear from the judge on that decision. Once she makes a decision on that, then we'll brief and decide the merits of the denial. So that's the posture of
But
that.
the merits are the conditions, right? That,
No, because it was denied, there were no conditions placed on it over and above what's in the ordinance. Because it was just straight up denied, as opposed to approved with conditions. So they kind of sat, at a different procedural posture. One was an approval, one was a denial.
okay. I was just under the impression this was a cover-all agreement. So I was misinformed.
I would say we're misinformed. There is the potential for that to happen in the future. And without speaking out of turn, we're in a good place. And I see the potential of being able to work things out in the future. But what was voted on tonight and what was negotiated in that is specific to Schultz Bernard.
But you understand my frustration. I've been coming to this meeting for 10 years at least. This started 15 years ago. There's always seems to be a stall tactic or whatever you want to call it. It just keeps dragging and dragging. So now you're telling me we're going to go through this crap again. There's probably going to be potential 2-3 more years.
I wouldn't say that.
I know you can answer that.
I just said I wouldn't
We
say that.
know what's happening. I mean, that's how it happens every time we go through this.
Again, I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't want to speak because the board hasn't taken any votes, but there is we're heading in the right direction.
Well, maybe you better talk with your fellow supervisors a little bit more, because I was under the impression this wasn't the way it was going to go.
Yeah, I can't.
Okay. Well,
Thank you.
I'll wait again.
Anybody else before we close the meeting?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Hi, Michelle Stonemark, 40 North Folly.
I actually had written down, just that very subject about the Schultz Bernard pad. I was really happy to hear that you guys sat down and negotiated with them. I was really happy to hear, especially in response to some of the air quality conditions. I was really happy to hear that you guys got them to agree to that stuff. I feel like so many of those conditions that you guys added that they finally agreed to have been, what's been, sort of a crawl on my side, whatever the saying is. It's sort of what's been bothering me for years and years and years is the lack of conditions that, Range is held responsible for. So kudos, thank you guys for taking the time to sit down with them. Thank you for coming to an agreement that makes sense for both sides. That being said, that's my whole point of coming up tonight was I would, at this point, highly encourage you to use those conditions that you guys agreed to and update our 10-year-old ordinance, because going forward, we have no other basis. We can't make a next well pad based on what we agreed to on this well pad, because every well pad is different in location, and every well pad is different, in geography. I could go on and on and on, but I would highly encourage you guys at this point, since we are in a good place, between the township and Range, that we sit down and update our ordinance so that everyone is in a much happier place.
So, you can speak about this. That is the direction we're headed. So in order to make these conditions that we've kind of agreed to, and we've had this brief conversation with me and Supervisor Claire and Supervisor Cecil, we are in a good place, and I see a good future working relationship with them as long as things can center, and that, I'll just call you out. This goes a lot to that woman right there who's been phenomenal to us. How long have you been with us? As our 9 months now? 9 months as our local government representative. If I call and there's a complaint or an issue, she doesn't brush me off, she doesn't brush any of the rest of us off, she takes it seriously and she gets it.
Which I really appreciate that way. Thank you.
Her name is Laurel and she's phenomenal. So as long as she wants to stick around with us, I see great things happening in the future.
Awesome.
I think the previous Jocelyn did a very good job as well.
I would disagree with that statement.
I mean, you can't expect her to return a call that's sent to her voicemail at Saturday. She did a good job.
I don't know.
I disagree with that statement.
I'm not.
I think Laurel's doing a great job. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Okay, thank you. Anybody else before we close this meeting? This meeting is officially closed and adjourned. Thank you.